Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a video that I wish I would have seen a couple years ago before I started working in the restaurant industry as a chef. I did go to culinary school, so I did have a little knowledge before I just jumped into the kitchen, but culinary school and an actual kitchen is very different. Of course, like normal school, they're going to make it look nice and so sweet, but I'm going to do 5 bad and then 5 good. I'm just going to start off with the bad just because I kind of like to end up more positively. So the first thing that I wish I would have known before I went into culinary school or into the kitchen, just to have like a little bit of knowledge of what I'm going to get myself into, especially as a person of color and being a woman. It's an interesting experience. Nothing, I don't regret doing what I did going to culinary school. I just want you guys to know what you might be in for. So number 1 is definitely the hours are crazy. You are always on call. No matter what, you could be working I was working 7 days a week for months, and then I had a break 6 days a week from 6 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon. And that's just how it was. And sometimes I would close and then I would go open. Closing would be at 1 and opening would be at 1 in the morning, and then opening would be at 6 in the morning. I would go home, take a shower, and come back. That was all you have time for. And I was like 19 at this time, right? Fun. The second thing is when I went to culinary school, my class was like almost all girls, and it was such a beautiful experience, and I kind of thought that it was going to be like that in the restaurants. I was like, oh my god, it's so inspiring having all these like women around me, and we're going to be so strong, and we're going to take over the industry. We totally are. But I expected to have so much more women in an actual restaurant, and you probably are gonna be the only one or one of the only ones. I'm not including waitresses, I mean like back of house kitchen staff. There might be one other girl, and or you might be the only one. I was the only girl in my kitchen for a long time, and that gave me some character. I'll get into that later. So number 1 is definitely crazy hours. Number 2 is definitely being the only girl. That always comes with discrimination, especially being my age. You're the baby, and then you're a girl, you're expected to do so much, and then they tell you can't do it. All that fun stuff. The next one is the food industry runs on cheap labor, which if you wanted to get your cake for $10, all those ingredients and the time to make that is more than $10. But the way they can do it is because they most of the time hire illegal immigrants. And we know this is a fact. Everyone in the industry knows that the kitchen is run and dominated by illegal immigrants. If you wanted to get something cheap, that's how they do it. And it's super messed up how people are treated. But honestly, I'm just being real with you. The kitchen is 90% illegal. And I've met some beautiful people because of that. But I just want you to know this, just because the next 2 is because of this. There's mostly illegal immigrants in the back of the house, and because of this, you make very little money. I was making $11 an hour. I went to culinary school, and still $11 an hour. And people that I was working next to that was working there for 10 years was making like $10. It's like crazy. The mistreatment is so intense. But you would ask for a raise for like $13, and they would be like, no, are you insane? So pay attention to that. You will make no money unless you own your own restaurant. Even as a head chefs of crazy restaurants only make like $35, which hourly, which is like, I mean, I'm giving you like hourly just because most of the time they make salary. So they'll be working there 15 hours a day, and they already have their set pay. Doesn't matter if they work 5 hours one day and then 24 hours the next, you know? So that's something to pay attention to. If you're not passionate about it, then it will get to you. But if you love the food, then you deal with it. You know, like I love what I do, so I know that I'm going to open up my own restaurant and I'm going to be fine. And the last one is how they treat you. Because they are so used to having people that are not legal, they think that they could treat those people and you a certain way that is so cruel and wrong and messed up. And it's honestly terrible to see how these people are treated when just because they don't have a little piece of paper, like, oh, now you can treat me nice because I have this little piece of paper. It's insane. I've seen head chefs that I've worked at throw plates at people. I was locked in a refrigerator by a head chef, you know, cursed out on a daily. Just what Gordon Ramsay represents in a couple of his shows, honestly, he's being dramatic because of the TV, but most of the time that's really how it is. It's very stressful and very intense, and I have cried so I can't even tell you how many times in the kitchen I've gone into the fridge and you just get a good cry and you come back out. And I do not support the treatment of people like this. So I have separated myself from people like that, and now I'm working in a place that I'm not treated like that. But I'm telling you that you are gonna encounter people like this like 80% of your time, and it's gonna take a long time to find a place that they're not treating you like this. Now I'm working at a place that I make a good amount of money and they're nice to me, but it took a couple years for me to find them. It took a lot of training and all this mistreatment. I mean, guys, everything that you put out, you get back in. So the places that I've worked at, almost all of them are being sued for malpractice. Honestly, like, I'm not, whatever you believe in, I'm not like Hindu, but I totally understand the concept of karma. Honestly, what you put out is what you bring back in, you know? So if you treat people like shit, after a while, somebody's gonna be like, hey, I'm suing you. But just pay attention to that. These are just warnings that I wish that somebody would have told me, because in culinary school they were like, oh, as a woman it's gonna be hard. But most of the time those were men telling you this because they've seen their co-workers go through it. They went through, but not as much. I'm telling you, as a girl, as a POC, these are stuff that you are most likely gonna deal with, and I'm so sorry. And the industry is changing, and we are trying. I'm trying. Everyone who cares about how we treat each other, honestly, we are trying. But it's gonna take a while before you can go into any kitchen and be like, hey, I want to make a good amount of money. I don't want to struggle. I don't want to work 50 hours a week and then have to get another job. It's honestly, we're trying. I just want to tell you this. I'm not trying to make you not want to be a chef. Honestly, it's such a beautiful field. I'm gonna get into some really good stuff right now. I just want you to be aware. This is what I wish somebody would have told me before going into culinary school. I don't think it would have stopped me from being a chef, but it would have saved me a couple tears. Okay, so now we're shaking off the bed, right? And now here's 5 good things. You are going to learn so much, not just about food, a lot of food. I mean, you're gonna learn how to make delicious food, but you're gonna learn about culture. You're gonna learn about like history and just so much beautiful. It's an industry that you are always growing and learning, and there's no time that you're not learning. You can learn different food, different cuisines from all over the world, and go travel to those countries and get firsthand experience from it, and that is amazing. Food honestly connects people. If you think about holidays, there's always food associated with it because people love food, and it's honestly a beautiful thing to bring us together. So that's really nice. You're gonna learn a lot. And number 2 is definitely that I have become tougher as a person, and I have definitely always been a stronger person, always very opinionated. When I'm being like that, I did this little thing because I'll link it down below, but there's a very famous TED talk that's like, you shouldn't call yourself opinionated, you should just say strong. As a woman, so I've definitely just been a very strong woman since I was a little kid. I was always definitely in charge and very independent. But in culinary school, they kind of tell you to be like, keep your head down, be like, yes, chef. And at first I was trying to fit into that position, and then I'm not like that. If somebody's mistreating me, I will report it and continue. I will report the abuse and to the higher up of where it needs to go, either it's the Department of Labor or have to sue someone. I mean, no one deserves to be mistreated. There's laws placed because of this for some reason. A lot of times it doesn't really involve the food industry, but I've definitely become a tougher person because of that. I have become strong and definitely know my self-worth, which is so amazing. And that also connects with the first one thing. I learned a lot, not just about the food industry, but about myself, of what I stand up for and what I don't. So take that as you will. Number 3, you are going to meet amazing people. The most beautiful, soulful, thoughtful people. And most of the time, it's because they've dealt with so much stuff coming to the United States illegally. You're gonna meet people who gave up their whole life to come here for $11 an hour, and it's so inspiring and motivational to hear everyone's story. When I was working at the restaurant previously that I'm working at now, I would go up to people and be like, if you're comfortable, tell me how you came here, because it was just so beautiful to hear these people's, how strong they are. I mean, if I walk a mile, I'm dying at the end of that mile. I'm like, please, dear universe, just smite me down. I don't want to live. It's too much. I wouldn't be able to deal with the mental, physical, emotional stress and harm these people had to go through. So it's just beautiful to see the people you meet, how nice they are to you. And honestly, it's such a beautiful thing. So the people that you meet is very important to me. And the next one is kind of obvious, is number 4, is you're gonna have so much food. Like, I mean, every restaurant's different, but the restaurants that I worked at, I would get so much food. I would get like cakes and pies and sushi, unlimited sushi, guys. That's so amazing. But you have so much food, and then on top of that, since you're a chef, you can go to most of the restaurants that like the businesses buy from. I mean, most of the supermarkets that the business buy from. So recently, we've been going food shopping at like it's called Jetro, and you can't go in there unless you have like a tax number that you're like a business owner or a chef or something. And you get stuff like, we got like a pound of cheese. I mean, it was more than a pound of cheese. It was like an 8-pound cheese. It was like this big, and it was like $4. And then if you go to it was mozzarella cheese. If you go to the supermarket, I think like this big is like $8. But that's so crazy to me. But definitely all the food that you're gonna get is so cool. And the last one is that you are a boss ass chef, and no one can take that from you. You are strong, you are independent, you are smart, you are talented, you're crafty, you are inspirational, you are a chef. And that is so nice. When I go up to people and be like, hey, I'm a chef, automatically think I'm a hard worker, because I'm a hard worker. They know that I love food, that I'm artistic, that I love all types of food, spicy, sweet. There's such a beautiful connection with that, and nobody can take that from you. So if you want to be a chef, I inspire you too. Please do not let the first 5 drag you down. Just know that they're there. I'm not trying to make you change your mind. I'm not trying to drag you down at all. I just want you to be aware of the negative, but then the positive outweighs everything. Honestly, if you're passionate about food, that's all that matters. And don't let anyone treat you different about that. If somebody's not nice to you, you find somebody who's going to be nice to you. And you do not let anyone take away your happiness. And I love you guys. Bye.